appointed General Ogolla. General Ogolla is among the people who went to Bomas to try and overturn my victory. Do you know that? But because when I looked at his CV, he was the best person to be general. I called him and I sat him down. I told him, my friend, you went to Bomas to try and overturn my victory. But because you are the best person to be general, I'm going to give you the job. That is how it works with me. That's why I told you, if a person has the qualification, if he is the best for the job, I will give him the job.
But that is the military. There's a code of conduct for the military and how politics works in Kenya, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, my friend, I had the opportunity. I could have appointed anybody. I had, I think, 10 choices. I didn't have to. You know, there are people who say, oh, you know, William Ruto appointed Ogolla because he was the deputy CDF. That's not the case. I made the decision consciously. And I made the decision against the advice of many people. Many people told me, you should not give this, you should not reward this kind of behavior. Okay. But, you know, I also must be sensitive. What exercised my mind? This gentleman has a good track record. And in fact, when I spoke to him, and it's not something that I should be talking about, but because you have asked a good question. What exercised my mind is this gentleman, yes, he may have made a mistake. Maybe because the commander-in-chief that time told him what to do. Maybe he... And when I talked to him, he told me, I have no defense. He told me, I have no defense. You do with me whatever you want. I cannot defend. It was wrong. What I did was wrong. Yeah? I am also conscious. My good friend Ayub, I'm also conscious that since independence, there is nobody from Nyanza who has ever been CDF. And it also played in my mind that I don't want a situation where a whole community think they cannot occupy a certain office. So many things that are part of my system overweighed the mistake he had done. Okay. You know? So I want to tell you that I make very sensitive appointments. I make very deliberate appointments. Many of the appointments, of course, that do not have to directly require my signature. Many of these managing directors, I don't know who, they are interviews all over the place. Okay. You know, so, and when a panel decides, for example, I was brought a panel that interviewed the CEO of museum. And just by coincidence, you know, the person who became number one was my classmate. And I never even asked anybody to assist her. So when it came to me, I told my friend, you know, if she's the best, she was a lady.
Okay, so it's safe to assume that according to the president of Kenya, Kenya is a country where all Kenyans are equal before the law. But interestingly, according to his deputy president, it's a shareholding company in which political appointees ought to be the priority for the government.
I think you should not take the sentiments of my deputy out of context.
What was the context?
I think it is fair if you can arrange an interview with him so that you can contextualize, you know, because now we are discussing him, me and you, and he's not here.
Not him per se, Mr. President.
Because that's what it is.
Okay, not him per se, Mr. President. We are discussing what he said. He's not the subject here, but okay. Let me put it this way. Let me paraphrase the question. What's your interpretation of what a shareholding company means? What do you understand by it?
I think, from where I sit, I think what Rigathi Gachagua is just trying to say is that while it is true that first we must serve all Kenyans equally, we must, to the extent possible, spread appointments across the country. And that's what I have tried as much as possible to do. If you look at my PSS, I think I got PSS from 41 counties. If you look at the CASs, I got CASs, I think, from 45 counties. Every county has a CAS in my administration, even the ones who voted for my opponent. I put them. If it was the philosophy of my deputy, yes, they wouldn't be shareholders, and therefore they wouldn't qualify. But you know, there is an extent to which you must nationalize, you know. Many people thought, for example, the Hustler Fund. Many people thought, oh, you know, this is just going to be for the people who voted for Kenya Kwanza. It is not. Look at the distribution of the Hustler Fund. Every county in the Republic of Kenya equally. You know, you don't have to know nobody. You don't have to know your MP. You don't have to speak to nobody. It is your phone and Hustler Fund. You have your money, you move on. So that is, and precisely, my good brother Ayub, precisely what I was saying. Instead of arguing about 20 appointments, 15, I don't know, this community, that community, why don't we bake a bigger cake? Why don't we create 1 million, 2 million jobs so that everybody has a piece of the pie? And that is what I am asking my good people, the people of Kenya, to help me, you know, invest in these programs. Let us pay our taxes. Let us contribute to the housing fund. Let us, those of us who have a job, let us not hold those who are without a job in contempt. They have not committed any crime. They are not lesser human beings. It is just that they don't have the opportunity me and you have. Let us do something about them also feeling part.
Mheshimiwa, kabla mwelekezi wetu ama kiongozi wetu kumalizia, naomba tukate mzizi wa fitina kwa swali lake Ayub. Kwa hivyo sasa hivi unaweza kuambia Wakenya kwamba matamshi ya naibu wako unayakana na kuyakashifu kwamba serikali yako si kampuni ya hisa?
Haya ni mambo yako.
Kwa hivyo unamuunga mkono basi?
Haya ni mambo yako.
Tuambie.
Nimewaambia, you know, yule bwana ni mtu mwenye ako na anaweza kujieleza. Mbona nyinyi mnakuja kumleta hapa, kumleta kwa mjadala hapa? Mumemuuliza yeye akakataa kuwaona.
Tumeleta maneno yake,
hatuja. Mbona mnaleta maneno yake na ni mtu mzima? Kwa sababu ako na akili timamu.
Wewe ndio kiongozi wa serikali.
Mbona msiende nimewaeleza msimamo wa serikali ya Kenya. Sasa ile imebaki, mtafute, anaitwa Rigiji. Mtafute.
Excellency.